The smoke and the booze, they don't treat me.
Hey y'all, and welcome to this week's Whiskey Wednesday. This is about as close as my wife is going to get to joining me on Daily Texas Country. Today, we're listening to Fast Lane by Cody Jinks, and I don't talk about him nearly enough, mostly because I don't listen to him nearly enough. But every time I do, he impresses me. He's got this big, deep voice, an even bigger beard, and a very calm demeanor, and it makes it feel like there's this elderly wise man imparting wisdom to me every time I listen to one of his songs. Now this song, called Fast Lane, is definitely one of those songs where he is actually imparting wisdom on other folks. And of course, the fast lane that he's talking about is about this lifestyle of, smoking, drinking, doing drugs, living fast and loose type of thing. Now, the hook of this song actually says, "Put on the brakes in the fast lane before your road ends." So he's cautioning people, keep going down this road. You're going to wind up dead, in the hospital, in jail, something like that. Now, he's saying this because he can look back at his past. He's past this himself, and he can give this kind of advice. He actually admits that, the smoke and the booze don't treat me like they did back then. Clearly he's getting older. Maybe he's not recovering like he used to, like his younger self. But then he kind of talks about some harder stuff. He talks about some drug use, talking about little white pills. He probably means oxy, where he would take them to forget where he's been, Then he goes even further. He mentions stuff that's even stronger, like heroin, and talks about the effect that it's had on his friends. But he's aware that he's past all this when he says, "Thank God I'm still here to stay away from the places I've been." Now, I hope he's never tried heroin and stuff like that, but if he has, I'm just kind of glad he's still here, because that stuff is pretty nasty. Then he sings the chorus and he moves on into the second verse, and the second verse is really reminiscent of his younger days, his first times trying cigarettes and alcohol, and thinking about his mindset when he did it. He says that first cigarette didn't do much, but the second one did. And it's funny because if you've ever tried a cigarette, the first thing you do is cough like 100,000 times, and he definitely didn't mention that part. But as for the drinking, his younger self definitely liked the whiskey much more the first time he tried it, based on the lyrics. But he says he still relates to that young kid, and he still says, "I've got eyes for the stars." He's still looking to build that music career, looking up to make a name for himself. Now, the solo section of this song, the guitar solo section, really kind of sneaks up right here. It comes out of nowhere, where the chorus just kind of dies down and the guitar picks it up, sneaks in, and it starts kind of mellow, and it just kind of meanders for almost a full minute to round out the song. And when I say meander, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's a very flowing, connected guitar riff that very much accurately speaks to the vibe of this whole song. Now, this song, The Fast Lane, is the first I've listened to from Cody Jinks in quite a while. Thinking back, I think the first favorite song of mine I had of his was Alone. I highly recommend it. It's really got the same kind of feeling as this song. It's very good. Now, I actually got to see Cody Jinks live once, and it was in downtown Austin on the east side of 35. And if you're from Austin, that's where all the hipsters hang out. There's no country venues over there. And that's exactly right. We saw him at this place that was very much kind of a hipster venue, and it did not draw a country crowd. And I didn't know that Cody Jinks really had an audience like that before. But he put on an awesome show, and I really do think he is truly a country artist based on the lyrics of his songs and a little bit of the instrumentation. He doesn't sound as traditional country as you might think, but he sounds country lyrically and from his background. Now, if you haven't listened to him, then you really should. And when you do listen to him, I recommend good pair of headphones to really hear that big, deep voice, and definitely a glass of whiskey. He puts you in that kind of mood. So that's it for this week's Whiskey Wednesday. Y'all take care.